Consent to record. Oh, yeah, true.
Consent to record.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Far out. That's kind of cool. So this is like, just before we start, I'll just say that this is a fully consensual podcast tonight. All the boys have given consent to be recorded. I don't like that stuff, man. You know, like I just want to get on with it and do the podcast. So, kia ora koutou, people. Welcome to another episode of South Pacific Muscle. Today, joined by our special guest from up in the, I was going to say sunny Auckland, but City of Sails from Auckland, Logan Hopa. How are you, Logan?
Good, man. Good, man. How are you?
Very well, very well. Good to have you on board. And as usual, my man in the usually in the driving seat, I just sort of sit back and coast. But Mr. Tab, good to have you on. How's things down in Dunedin, mate?
Yeah, man. Getting cold and wet. So as expected.
Logan's got a big smile on his face. Tell him why, Logan.
Oh, mate, I'm down there next week for 2 days. So I'm not looking forward to it. Got 2 days down there, and I'm like, geez, it's freezing. Not ideal, but you know, that's all right.
I looked at the forecast. I don't think we get into double figures all next week.
Oh, great. Love it.
You're killing me, bro. I'm seriously, I can't remember how cold it used to be down there because, like, I did my walk on the beach this morning, and it was probably a little bit later than usual. It was probably getting around the 8 o'clock mark, and I was on the beach, and I thought, fuck, should I take my shirt off? I went, oh, nah, maybe not today. But I was there, you know, I was contemplating, should I have my shirt off? And you guys are down there. How many layers are you wearing on a, you know, when you're outside?
I was only 2 today.
Oh, yeah.
You get used to it, you know.
Accustomed to it, eh?
My sister-in-law was coming down on holiday. She didn't like the cold. My brother and my sister-in-law were coming down, and so I took a photo of the weather report to send up to her because it was this was when I was in Queenstown. It was a high of -1 and a low of -8 that day. So I sent that to her. Is this one of those things that you do when you don't want people to visit? You're like, yeah, no, you should come down, but I mean, the weather's not great. Fucking -18 degree high. And they look at that and go, no, I'm not coming. Good stuff. Right, you know, I was going to get sister-in-law. So yeah, you're right. I probably didn't want to be.
Oh, he said it. Anyway, I was going to actually, I was going to cancel or postpone today's podcast actually, because fuck, I just looked at the mirror and man, I was like, holy shit, man, what the fuck is going on, man? I've got fucking hair growing out of everywhere, man. I'm like, this is an unintended consequence of living. And as I've got older, my fucking eyebrows are growing. I've got fucking hair growing out of here. I'm shaving like a motherfucker, get rid of the stuff off. And get the like fucking 5 o'clock shadow by about 10 a.m. I'm like, man, this is not good. And as you know, Mike, my girlfriend comes down once a month. So once a month, it's like, babe, get those clippers out, fucking shave the shoulders.
Was she down last weekend? You should be still pretty fresh.
I am pretty fresh, I've got to say. And I even got the ears waxed and everything. So
the whole shit, jeez.
Mate, I've got to say, man, like, you know, I'm a pretty blokey kind of guy, man. Like I get around in shorts and t-shirts and jandals most days if you see me at the shop. But fuck, I do like a bit of a manicure, like getting my eyebrows all done. Not a fan of the back wax, got to say. Not a big fan of that. Used to like it, but not nowadays. It fucking feels like ripping up old carpet, bro. And but it's quite nice to get a bit of that pampering every now and then. So.
Better on the beach in Thailand, but
oh, fucking stop it! How good would that be when you're sitting in Dunedin and it's fucking you're looking forward to the promising high of 7 or 8 degrees to think, fuck, I could be on the beach in Thailand getting a fucking manicure and a pedicure and a massage and fucking sipping on a cocktail.
Yeah.
That would be ideal. You know, speaking of, you know, bloody grooming, I don't know what happened, man. As soon as I started competing, it's bloody hair everywhere, and you're like shaving your back. And Jordan always tells me off, and he's like, bloody, you know, give yourself a shave, wax it all. I need to see the progress. And I'm like, I can't be bothered, man.
Oh.
You look like you've made a bit of an effort tonight, though. Like you look pretty sharp on the sideburns and smooth on top.
Yeah, clean myself up a little bit, but that's as far as I go. The face, and then the rest can come off at show day.
Bro, I've never been a beard dude. Like, I mean, I can grow some good shit, but it's kind of ginger and I look with fucking, you know, whatever. So, I used to have some good ones, you know, some nice real tight lines in there. But I've never been a big beard guy, but the guys, you know, that are sort of kicked around with that have grown beards have grown some fucking sensational beards, man. And I always wondered, do you guys, you know, do you groom them yourself, or do you go to a barber and get them to do a real nice job on it?
Mate, I go to a barber. I've got a guy up in Auckland that I go and see. He loves it. Like, he's just like, there's not many people who go in, and I can't grow hair up top, so I'm like, you know, I got to have something. So I go in there, he trims up the beard, does everything, and go once a fortnight. You know, like you said, man, it just makes you feel good.
Bro, I always like watching those old American movies when the guys go to the kind of barber shop and there's like 3 or 4 of the boys just sitting down and they're getting fucking blade shaved and that, and talking with the barbers and shooting shit amongst themselves. And I'm like, fuck, these guys are like a comedy show. If you put a, you know, like drop a camera in there, man, like barbershop fucking live, here we go.
Oh, some of the shit you hear, man, it's pretty out there, especially out in you know, the guy I go see, he's out South Auckland way, so they just let everything go.
Yeah, hey, anyone who's a barber or a hairdresser or you know, some kind of therapist like that, tell us how much psychotherapy you're doing for people, man, because I can imagine some of the conversations you have must be absolutely mind-blowing. You probably know more secrets than CIA.
Bring down governments.
Oh, I bet. What do you reckon, Mike? You reckon you could grow a decent beard?
No, not at all. I'm. I guess the swing and roundabout is that I don't have to. I shave maybe twice a week, and like I've got blonde hair and pretty hairless, so I don't have to do anything on my back. I just couldn't be fucked. So I clip at the front, but there's not really very much there. You can't really see it on my arms. So, you know, I get annoyed when I have to prep for a competition and go, oh fuck, I got all this hair out because it's so unusual. I haven't had to deal with it since the last prep. So
I now know why you got into bodybuilding and grew so massive, Mike. You really just wanted to leave behind that fucking skinny white boy twink fucking label that you were getting. I can't imagine that, man. It's so foreign. Like I remember like being 21 and getting my missus to tweeze like 2 or 3 hairs that I had on my shoulders, and
that's probably where I'm at now.
Oh Jesus, fuck it! You know how blessed you are in that respect, man.
Oh yeah, I do. Because when I was a road cyclist back in the day, when I was 15, 16, I started shaving my legs, and that was annoying. You know, I'd have to shave them every Saturday before I raced, Saturday morning before I raced. So I went, oh fuck, this is annoying. And there was a fair bit of surface area there. So
yeah.
No, I'm pretty happy that I don't have to shave. I'm pretty. I know how lucky I am without having to do my face too often and not having to deal with stray hair everywhere.
The leg one though, bro, I've got to say is like 2 things about it. There's so much fucking surface area, and like trying to get around your hamstrings and that is a fucking nightmare. I just kind of blindly kind of razor the shit out of it and hope it all comes off. But then the other thing is like when I get to sort of a month out from a show, I'm shit scared because there's so many fucking big dirty veins sticking out. I'm like, I don't want to play this game, man. If I nick one of those bad boys, I'm fucking bleeding out of the shower.
I did hair removal cream last time.
Yeah, I did the same. Yeah.
Did it work for you, Logan?
Yeah, it worked. Like it's
No way.
Yeah, I did that, and that was just the easiest way to do it. One of the other times I lay on the floor and I got someone to shave me with a bucket of water and then a razor, and I just lay there for like an hour.
Yeah. Honestly, man, because I've done probably not, and I don't mean so many shows, but I've done a reasonable number of shows now. Like the normality of sitting there in the fucking on a chair with fucking shaving foam all over your back with someone. Look, I've had girlfriends. I've made my mother do it one day because I was stuck with someone to shave it. You got to shave my back. I'm going to get on stage in 2 days and fucking anyway. But yeah, it just chews up so much time, and fuck those veins, man. I just don't like going near them with a razor blade. But anyway, the hair removal cream you said worked for you, and I remember it would have to be 15 years ago or so, Mike. I tried the Veet, and I remember putting it on my chest and rubbing it all in. I'm like, sweet, this is going to be choice. And honestly, I was just left with this kind of sticky fucking mess with bits of hair, and it only took about 50% of the hair out. And I kind of went, So
I sort of like clipper it a bit and then go over top of that.
Just with supermarket stuff or special?
Yeah, oh man, I'm probably the laziest when it comes to like grooming before a show. I'm like, whatever it takes to get it off, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then for me, I get a lot of ingrowns as well, so that's why I don't shave
Yeah,
all the way
man.
up to the shoulder.
Serious bodybuilder problem here, man. Ingrown hairs, bro. And like, we
for me.
probably, yeah, no, look, man, look, we've got to give this because I've had some pretty amazingly annoying ingrown hairs, and particularly if you're going on stage, the last thing you want is like, you imagine turning around and hitting a back shot and having a whole lot of ingrown hairs. Everyone will be going, look at that fucking acne abusing motherfucker. You know, and it gives that appearance. And like when I used to get waxed, I would get that sort of thing. So I guess tips for those that do have to do it. From me, tips from me would be get a professional to do it if you're going to wax. Otherwise, if you're susceptible to ingrown hairs, rather than use a razor, just go really, really close with a trimmer. And to be honest, even though you can see it in the mirror when you look up close on stage, you don't see it at all, and you don't get the ingrowns because it's not cutting it below the surface of the skin. So that's my tip. The other one is stay clean, especially after training. Get in the shower straight away and clean up and all that kind of thing. Logan, tips from a hairy man to those men that have to exfoliate.
Yeah, exfoliate was the biggest one, man. Is like, I think, for me, I do it a week out from the shower. I'll trim everything off, and then I just exfoliate every day and just, keep yourself. Biggest thing is just keep yourself clean. Like, it's a lot of the guys who get lots of acne and stuff, it's just because they just don't wash, and they just
How do you go? Do you have loo for your back, or get someone to do it, or because I can't? That's about as far around as I can get.
You have a missus, man.
Yeah.
Mate, I only get once a month I see my missus, so like I'm not fucking waiting. No, I've got a I tried a loofah thing. I actually used to use a loofah dry, do a dry loofah all over, and then jump in the shower. This is from a beauty therapist told me this one. And then I've got one of those really long kind of, I don't know what they are. They're kind of like almost like a scrubbing kind of brush material.
Like a brush, yeah.
Yeah, you can front to back and get a bit of rotator stretching while you're there, which is kind of handy. But
mate, if I'm honest with you, my missus washes my back every night.
Oh, bro.
It's like, as I say, laziest when it comes to stuff like that. But you know what?
Did she ever kind of like get into it and then go, "Fuck, this was so much easier 10 years ago when you were smaller"?
Well, she's now saying, "Geez, you're leaning up a lot, and it's a lot." I've come down quite a bit of weight already for prep. So it's but we haven't been together too long. It's been over a year now. So
that was in the contract when she joined.
Yeah, I got her to sign it and I said, you have to wash me every day. No, but in all seriousness, she's great. She helps a lot, and she's actually my training partner as well. So she trains every session with me and does everything I need, but doesn't bodybuild, doesn't compete, doesn't diet, doesn't do anything. But she'll match me set for set and does what I need to do, and she just loves it. Yeah.
All right, that's cool, man. It's really cool. I think we kind of get that in sync thing going. You can achieve some really cool stuff because you kind of, when you're that close with someone, you sort of know their, the triggers and things that will really get them to lift it up again. You can push them pretty hard in the gym. Kind of cool to get that, man. Pretty hard to find.
It is hard, man. Especially like, I'll probably, to be honest with you, like the only other person I've really trained with in the last 5 years is Jordan. We have some pretty killer sessions when we do link up, but yeah. I train with her and she'll bury me and just get me in my zone, and I'm like, you know what, I'm there, and I hit the numbers I need to hit, and that's what we're here for, right? It's just get the right people.
Bro, I'm reflecting on something I said earlier in the week. I was talking to someone and I was telling them I just trained for the second time with this bikini girl who's she's going to be competing, I think, in IMBA. She's a natty in that.
Yeah.
And everyone went, "Oh yeah, how's that?" And I said, "Fuck, I haven't trained with anyone like that since my previous training partner 4 years ago." And I said, she had exactly the same qualities as my previous training partner, who I hold as my best training partner ever. Like they just push so hard. Like we did hack squats, and you'd kind of expect that a bikini girl could do, she could do hack squats and that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect the bikini girl to do hack squats to the point that she collapses in a screaming heap at the bottom of the hack squat after fucking busting out probably 2 more reps than I thought were possible. And to sum it up, after we'd finished our workout and we were on our last exercise, I was up last doing 20 rep squats, and I got to 11 and I was fucking sucking in air, and I busted out one other one or two. Anyway, all the way up to 18 just, and I was folding over. So I dumped it in the rack, and I went out and I went to take my belt off, and she screamed at me over my headphones, "Don't you fucking touch that!" And she whipped 2 fucking 5s off each side. "Go again." And so I got in there and I went again, and then I was on the floor and I was fucked. And I was just like, holy shit. And I looked across and I said to her, "What's the difference between us and everyone else?" And she goes, "They don't fucking train." And I'm like, this is a bikini girl saying this. And I would expect to hear that from Mike if you were lying on the ground after a big set, and, you know, Logan, you know, you'd expect to hear, you know, we train exceptionally hard and that's it. But it was so funny to hear it come out from this girl. And she was just like, and I said, "Yeah, you're right." I said, "You know, most of these people aren't training to their potential. You know, they're probably stopping, in realistic terms, probably 5 to 7 reps in reserve every set." And to see it, yeah, and to see someone, you know, push me down. Anyway, that was my story I was reflecting on when you said that about training with your partner, because, you know, like, as I've said in the past, it's easier to find a wife than a training partner, man. You know, to find someone that's in it for the long term and they've got the same drivers as you, and that, you know, click.
Also early days for you, man. I used to train with my wife too, but we've been married now for 12 years and we've been together for probably 20. So now it's like, even when we've got kids too, so we're often tag teaming for the gym, but even when we go together, it's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm doing arms." "Oh, what are you doing?" "Arms." "Do you want to train together?" No. No, separate directions, you know.
Oh, I love it.
Partly because you can outlift me on them, so.
Yeah. You didn't want to be taking plates and shit off.
No, that's right.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
I always find it's their pain threshold as well. Like, they can go to places that men can't. And, you know, you can hear like, "Oh, you know, guys train hard," and yeah, they do. But I've seen some females that just dig in and they just keep going, and, like, yeah, they won't lift the same weight, but mate, they will probably do 6 or 7 more reps than you.
If you ever want inspiration, go and have a look at some of the fucking beyond gutsy deadlifts that women have pulled, that every guy I know will have just put that down and went, "Fuck it, I'm not knocking that out." And they've fought like their life depended on it. And it must have been, you know, I think maybe there is something in that, you know, you say that they're wired to be able to go that bit deeper than most guys can do.
Yeah. And most guys are just pussies, man. Let's be honest.
We're conditioned that way.
Yep.
Right. Anyway, we are here to talk about bodybuilding, and we are here to interview Logan. Or not interview, it sounds very formal. But Logan, I've only known you in recent times. It's been a real pleasure knowing you. Like, you know, I've had some good conversation, even on here tonight. And I think it's always nice to meet someone that's sort of in the same sort of mindset as us and into competing. And I know you're in your 6th year of competing, but do you want to rewind for people that don't know you and just talk a bit about your early days growing up, where you're from? And, you know I want to hear about your early days in sport, because I do know a little bit about this, but I want to hear it from you. So Mike's yours.
Yeah. So, oh man, I grew up in Auckland all my life, and, you know, my old man, he's from a town called Morrinsville. Grew up on a farm, so I grew up with a quite, not strict parents, but very, you know, straight shooters who are just straight to the point, very straight up, and just, you know, hard work is basically built into me and my brothers. I grew up doing, you know, a bit of team sports, rugby, but mainly martial arts, which was taekwondo. I did that from the age of about 6 to 19, so 13 years of doing that, and that was probably 5-6 days a week, from, you know, such a young age. And it was mainly my old man did it as well, and he basically put me into it and said, you know, "You're going to do this." He was all about, you know, wanting you to learn how to defend yourself and look after yourself, and he was just a man's man. Still is today, a little bit softer as he's older, because he's in his 60s now, but still, you look at him, he's got that, you know, that aggression. You're like, yeah, he's still got it. But I grew up doing that, and that's really.
One thing I do want to point out is that you ended up at second dan black belt, yeah?
Yeah, I did, yes.
So I don't want to glance over that point, people, because, to me, anyone that achieves a black belt in martial arts has really shown that they are at an elite level, because, it takes as many years and as much training as what it does in bodybuilding to, achieve to a high standard. So just tell us a little bit about that journey and what getting your black belt meant and what that has transferred into your day-to-day life now.
Yeah, it's man, honestly, it meant everything to me. I got my first dan when I was about 14. I took about a year off. I had a couple injuries when I was 13, and I getting into college, and I did the usual where you muck around and you get into things where you're like, you know what, I'm injured and now I've got no purpose, so I'll just F around at school and F around doing whatever you wanted. And then, it was like a light bulb switched on, and I was like, what am I doing? I've got to get back into what my passion was, which was martial arts. So I got back into it, got my first done, and then I carried on and got my second as well, which, was a big deal for me. It was something that I always looked up at my old man. People look at, what are their mentors and, what motivated them. And my old man always was. There were so many things from him that I took away, was whether it was his salary of what he earned a year, whether it was what he could lift or what he achieved in martial arts. I looked at everything that he did and was like, I want to one-up him. And I want to do better than him, and I still do today. I still say, I deadlift more than you did, or whatever.
Can we stop this? No, let's stop this conversation, man, because my 16-year-old is rapidly catching me. Everyone goes, he's going to make a great bodybuilder. I'm like, he's not. He's a fighter. He's not doing bodybuilding, and he's not interested. But like when you watch, your kids catching up on you like that, it's kind of like, And I've realised already with, like we play fight, we used to play fight. We don't play fight now because we had a play fight in 20 seconds. Like he was jumping at me. I thought, fuck, he's going for my back. And I went, he's going to go for a choke. And by the time I even thought that, my face was flushing and he'd got me in a chokehold from behind. And I'm like, you win.
Yeah.
No, Daddy's not playing wrestling anymore. I'm out of here. But I can still kick your ass in the gym. But I can see him catching up there. I'm thinking, fuck.
Hey, but Nath, I'd imagine that you probably want him to surpass you in most areas, wouldn't you? And that's what you want for your kids, right?
Yeah, 100%. But
that's probably what your father would want for you, Logan.
But I'm not going to fucking make it easy, you want to fucking, and I think I had a real cool conversation with Paul Kingy about this one day, because Paul Kingy is obviously a really accomplished powerlifter, strongman, kickboxer, sumo wrestler, pretty reasonable at rugby, all those things like that. And he's got the son, and I looked at this photo of his son at about 22, 23, and he looks just like Paul, and they're standing back to back with the hugest backs. And I'm thinking, holy shit. And I was talking to Paul on the weekend. He said, yeah, he benched 260. And I was like, fuck. And I'm kind of like, and he's like, but I'm still Mufasa. Like I said, I just laughed, eh? So, we do make it hard. But sorry, Logan, I had to go on a tangent there. But so you looked up your father and his achievements, and then you achieved your black belt.
Yeah, I achieved that, and then that was kind of like, I did that, and I was always real skinny, though, from martial arts. So, I ate. When you say you ate a lot back then, I did. I absolutely, I ate everything. Didn't matter what it was. It was takeaways. It was everything. And I competed in martial arts at around 62 kilos. So when I got into weight training, that's how heavy I was.
Which was about what age?
Was probably, I started, about 17, and then, it's quite funny. I started when I was 17. I was doing both, and then I quickly realized I can't do both, because I'm detrimenting both. I'm not performing well in either.
Okay, guys, here's a big lesson, and Logan's pointed it out, and he's spot on. I did the same thing when I was jumping between powerlifting, strongman, and bodybuilding. You can be okay at all three. You can be not bad at all three. But if you want to be a rock star in one, you know, you really have to go after that and focus on that. So that's probably, you know, word for word my experience and Logan's experience here. So, you know, if you want to be a bodybuilder at the elite level, put your childish toys away and join the dark side.
Oh yeah, and it's you know, it's funny when you say that. My parents hate it. Well, not hate it. They'll support me with whatever they want, but they're like, you know, do powerlifting or do something else. You know, we hate the drawn in look. You look at 1 week out and
how many go for your beauty pageants?
Yeah. They hate all that, but you know, even though they say that, they're still your parents, and they're still gonna support you.
Honestly, bro, you're 6 years in. Give it another 2 or 3 years, and they'll think it's absolutely normal, man. Like, you know, mine kind of like I talk about pre-comp and prep and dieting and what's happening, and my mum sort of nods her head and asks the odd question that's really informed, and I'm thinking, fuck, I didn't realise you actually were that interested. So it's kind of nice when they get to that point. But
yeah, I will say, you know, my old lady, she's been to every show. So even though she's not the biggest fan, she's still my biggest fan.
Yeah, that's cool, eh?
Which is cool, but you know, I went off a little bit, but you know, that's kind of where I was. I was at a crossroads of what I wanted to do in my final year of college, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this weight training thing. It's funny, you know, I always hear about Jay Cutler saying he picked up a magazine and he saw, can't remember his name, on the front, and he was like, oh, you know, I want to look like him. But well, I actually picked up a magazine of muscle and fitness of Jay on the front at Rebel Sport. And I was like, holy shit, someone could look like this.
Oh, bro, it's too much deja vu with you. I was just, I just put a post up earlier, Mike, and it was like, you know, you're a meathead if Saturday night date ideas include watching Jay Cutler videos. And I was just watching Jay Cutler videos before, and you know, it's kind of like you're talking about picking up a magazine with Jay Cutler and that, and it's like, we've all been there, you know. I mean, it's funny, where our inspiration comes from. And
yeah, man, it's
funny how something almost that could have been inconsequential, like you picked it up with, you know, fuck, that guy's fucking pretty freaky looking, and put it down and thought nothing of it and carried on and did whatever, and you know, got off into some career or into another sport or whatever. But for some reason you pick it up and you look at it and it's fucking, that picture changes your world. And it's like,
it certainly did, man. It was that, and then, you know, I went from 62 kilos at the start of my final year of college to, I think it was high 80s at the end of the year.
Fuck, there should be some pretty good stretch marks there.
Oh yeah, I had a lot then, and you know, I think it was funny. I had this competition with my mate of who could bench 150 by the end of the year. And you know, I ended up doing it, and then he had to put my weights away for a month, which was just this little ego bet we had going with each other. But
he might have caught up with you from doing that extra weights in between, or his condition probably picked up from all the extra exercise.
Had the cardio on me by then. But yeah, that was kind of, you know, that kind of got me going, and then, you know, from there I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a show, see what it's all about. I you know, didn't place well. I think it was third or first show at Woos, and then, you know, I did Naturals the week after. I think it came fourth or fifth, I can't remember. But then from there, I met a guy named Muhammad, which I'm sure everyone probably knows who Sam is.
Yep.
And he kind of just not only like killed me in terms of training, but he changed everything for me. So, you know, I can't say a bad word about him because he kind of got me on the right path of what bodybuilding.
Was he coaching you, or were you training with him?
He coached me. So he coached me, you know, we had a good relationship. He coached me for, I think it was 2014. I came third in junior nationals behind, I know Tom won, and then I think maybe Ross maybe came second. I can't remember who came second.
Yeah, he was really good too, eh?
Yeah, he was good. Yeah,
it's funny, man. Like, you kind of like you know, 2014 seems like a lifetime ago for me, man. It really does. Like, because, you know, I went away from bodybuilding from probably 215 to into 215 onwards. But when I think back about some of the physiques that were starting to appear at that time, there were some really good physiques. You know, we always harken, we all go back to go, you know, in the 90s on the pro scene, or even in New Zealand, we often do it. We go, do you remember in the 90s how stacked the classes were? And they fucking were, man. They were stacked as shit, and people's condition was great. But also, I think we are undervaluing some of that sort of post 2010. There was a little bit of a surge in bodybuilding again, and we had some real quality physiques in all the federations, you know, and even some of the guys that were coming through were of a really, really high standard. So maybe in another 10 years, we'll look back and go, remember back in 2014, it was a great time.
Yeah, probably. Well, you know, look, Tom's a pro now. And, you know, I think even me personally looking at him, one of my favorite looks from him was when he won, was it Arnold Juniors, and then the week after the pro-am, he, you know,
in the purple trunks.
In the purple trunk.
Man,
incredible. Like
absolutely amazing.
Healed and you know, big for his age and everything. Like he was on point. So you know,
wasn't it also the thing I found about his physique back then was it was so clean.
Yeah,
you know, like he had a really nice shape, because he was quite like in the off season when we trained with him, he was quite a big guy, you know, like he was quite big. He carried a bit of body fat. This is back then. He certainly doesn't now, but back then. And then he put that, you know, that couple of years he strung together, and sort of 1 year he just sort of leaped, and you saw him on stage and you were just like, where the fuck did that come from? You know, like suddenly there's this kid who was quite a, you know, good little young bodybuilder. Actually, fuck, this guy's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look at him now, he's just progressing and progressing, which is I think
it's laughable. I saw him in the gym probably 6 weeks ago, and we were just standing next to each other. I said, fuck, you look ridiculous, bro. I said, how much? And he was like about 126 or somewhere around there. And I said, fuck, you've got to have 22 inch arms. He goes, oh no, they're just under. And I'm like, fuck off. I'm like, you know, I can't even break 20. And, you know, you what, how old are you? But anyway, so enough fanboying on Tom.
Yeah.
Great friend, great guy to train with. But, you know, that's really just a shout out to Tom and those people that assisted him in the early years, because fuck, it was a fantastic package, and it left someone, I guess, lasting memories with some of us guys that have been around for a long time. So,
and I think it goes back to like what you said, is we kind of do a discredit or disservice, to everyone that's come up and, you know, competed, because there has been some guys you've looked at and go, man, another 5 kilos, they're going to be dangerous and they're going to do extremely well. But we always, IFBB Pro Store as one guy, remember the 90s or remember the early 2000s, and it's like, who really cares, man? It's been and gone. Just appreciate what you've got now as well.
Yeah, so I think that's the key, man. Like, because I'm nostalgic as fuck, man. I love that era.
Yeah.
But as you say, you can be nostalgic as fuck and love that era, but open your eyes, man. You're in a fucking good era at the moment. You know, it's a different era. For some people, it's quite a hard era to deal with because of all the social media and all the, you know, the way bodybuilding's changed essentially. But where this changes opportunity, and we've got some really good athletes that, you know, in 5 years' time, they're going to look back and go, fuck, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you look at guys like Ian and James and all of them, those are the guys I look at and go, man, they train bloody hard, and they, you know.
I like what they have outside of bodybuilding as well. I mean, they are totally out of balance with the world and have this bodybuilding thing, but they have all these other things that fit into that bodybuilding world, like James with his gaming, etc.
One of which is not a job, and that kind of helps.
Yeah. But like, you know, haven't they created, and like the cool thing about those guys is they're pretty aware, you know, like they go, fuck, you know, I'm not lucky because I've worked my ass off to get here. However, I'm fucking blessed to be doing what I'm doing, because fuck, who else gets to live like this? And I'm kind of like, you guys are good on you, you know? little I guess, you know, they've created their own space in the social media domain and have got high enough recognition now that they can cash in on that. And I'm just like, it was kind of cool to see like guys like Nick Walker buy his first house. And I'm thinking, fuck, you're 21. Most people at 21, if they'd spent the amount of money and time you've spent on training, wouldn't have two pennies to rub together. So it's kind of nice seeing
26, isn't he?
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, at that age, if you'd thrown everything into bodybuilding, you know, and not had, you know, a high paying career, how do you get ahead like that? And it's like, well, it's nice that he's actually getting recognised for what he's worth. And I think
it's because 95+% of them don't sort of recoup that money they put in and sort of find themselves going, right, I'm going to have to accept that my dream is not going to become a reality. What next? And go and find themselves.
Yeah, I even think those guys that aren't going to make it as competitive bodybuilders. I mean, you look at the guys, some of the guys that are making huge amounts of money out there. Fuck, they're not going to win a show.
Oh, look,
most of them won't get on stage. You know, they don't need to.
Irrespective of the money, you know, it's not wasted time too. You learn so much about yourself. You learn so many transferable skills. So you're not wasting your time by throwing everything into bodybuilding through your 20s. Because, you know, at 30, I mean, especially from where I'm sitting, 30 is not old, you know, it's time, but you've gathered all these skills, you know, experiences, abilities that you can transfer into something else and be really successful in whatever you do.
It's time in the trenches, isn't it?
It definitely is, man. It's why I do my job and my career is I attribute a lot of it, you know, early days martial arts, and that's why I find prepping for shows so easy because it's like, man, nothing compares to what I used to do. And now, you know, workload, and we were talking before about what I'm, you know, doing during this, and I'm like, I actually like it because it makes prep harder. And I'm like, sweet, if I'm suffering a bit, then, you know, we're in the right place. If I'm too comfortable, then I'm like, shit, what's happening? You know, why is this easy?
How many weeks into your prep are you?
We started probably 23 weeks out. But I started working with Jordan October. I've known Jordan for a long time. I've known him since 2013. We've been good mates for a long time, and he actually peaked me for my last show, which was Pro-Am, which I won my class in that.
Yep.
In 2019, but you know, that was kind of like my comeback. I just was like, you know, I want to get back on stage. I started at a shitty body weight of I think I was 86. And then I came to about 73 on stage, but peeled. You know, I think I sent you a photo of what I look like on stage. And
how tall are you, Logan?
I am probably about 5'6", 5'7", if that. I don't know. I don't really measure myself. I just go, you know what, I'll pack as much muscle as I can on my height, and you know, use my shines to basically win shows. And this is what I'm.
If there's no if you're not in a federation that has height restrictions, there's who cares? I'm even the same. I'm the same with weight, man. I'm just like, people go, what class? And I answered today. I said, probably the 90 to 100. And I'm like, I don't know. Whatever I fucking weigh on the day is what I'm doing. I'm not fitting into anyone's class. You know, it is what it is. Anyway, Logan Hopa, guys, here's his Insta. If you want to jump on there for follow, it's going to be interesting over the next 16 or so weeks to watch body fat and some of that fucking fur get shaved off. You fucking filled out your shoulders and arms a bit, eh? In the off season.
Yeah, man. It's been interesting. It's been definitely, you know, I think my peak off season this year was 109 with Jordan. That was actually the start when we started working with each other. Yeah. Which was
33 weeks ago, eh?
Yeah, which was good. And then, you know, if you go up a bit, you'll see I guess where would I have been photo, but yeah, around that front double, that comparison, I was probably at my heaviest on the left, and then, you know, that was 8 weeks between. So
holy shit, you dropped down pretty quick, eh?
Yeah, just that's what happens with me, man, and he knows as well. As my biggest problem is I get super, you know, ready quick. Like my body just turns on to overdrive, and we're doing cardio 3 days a week, like 20 minutes of that. And my body was just like, sweet, let's prep. And lost, I think this morning I was 96 and a half.
Yep.
I already, it's almost 13 kilos in, however long, and we're not doing anything to lose weight. It's just happening.
This sounds very similar. So I'm picking that during that off season that you guys pushed and pushed and pushed till you couldn't get any more carbs in, yeah?
Oh yeah, man. It was,
yeah, this is for people that are listening, man. This is your blueprint right here.
Yeah.
All there's a lot of complexity around what we do, I suppose. But in simplistic terms, in the off season, we push the calories, we push the carbs as high as we can get them, as much as we can physically take in without getting too out of shape. And then when we start dieting, we just shave a little bit off the top, and suddenly, you're dropping a kilo a week. And like you say, you're doing 3, I do 5 days walking 20 minutes, and I walk with my headphones on, I stroll, I stop for a bit of a dance on the beach, and that's it, man. I come back, there's no sweat on me, I haven't done any cardio. It's just a bit of doing a few steps and using some energy up, and that's enough to swing the energy equation, I guess, the balance. And
I know you're talking about a dirty bulk, but when you also say don't get too out of shape, I got to, I think, 120 last year, and I had 14 weeks to get rid of. I came down 15 kilos, probably still had another 3 to go. Just didn't have enough time. I had a few interruptions to the prep, but I'm not going to get that far out. I mean, I'm hoping to come in about 105 this year, and I'm not getting above sort of 116, 117. So a bit easier to kind of bring it in, which still doesn't look flash. I wouldn't quite consider it a dirty bulk, but it's, I've got a bit to lose. So if you don't mind dieting for 23 weeks, or you find dieting easy, then get as fat as you like. But don't like dieting.
The kind of blueprints that I was talking about, I'm picking at yours is all clean food too, Logan.
Yeah, he'll tell me off as well, because I don't like cheat meals that much. So I just I'm very just to exactly what he's put down. I just like to eat exactly what is said. I don't like change. Like he got me to eat burgers on Sunday, which to me, I'm just like, yeah, I'll do it because she said, but I still don't. I don't like eating food like that. I feel like crap.
It feels like I'm holding a mirror up here at the moment, just going, this is my experience in its entirety. If you want to know, my opinion, ask Logan.
You're saying that Jordan throws out cookie cutter programs.
Hey, no.
Just being facetious.
No. What I'm saying, I know you're taking it, but what I'm saying is, like the approach that Logan's describing is the approach that Jordan and I have also implemented, which is, it's worked for him. And unless it wasn't working for myself or Logan, why change that formula? And it's interesting, man, because like you, Mike, I've never come in using this kind of style before. I've been exactly in your shoes, 12 comps in a row, like coming in off a dirty bulk, probably sitting at about 20% body fat, and thinking, fuck, I've got 15 weeks and I'm going to dump 25 kilos. What the fuck am I going to do here? So I guess what I'm saying is it's probably the modern way of thinking, although, look, man, there's no right or wrong answers in bodybuilding. And as I've come in really good shape using a completely different approach. And I'm just hoping that this will give me an even better result.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately. If you're able to eat like you are, Logan, just like a robot, I don't need cheat meals. I'll eat what's on the plan. I don't mind weighing and measuring my food 365. Then it becomes pretty easy to be just in surplus, or 300 calories in surplus, or 400 calories in surplus. Be really precise with that. So you're not going to put on excessive amounts of body fat. You're going to have be absolutely assured you've got enough to grow, and you're not going to put on body fat. It's just when you can't handle that kind of regimented style off season and your food's all over the place. That's when you.
Mike, one of the points that you talked about there is going above, being in surplus. But the flip side of it is when it comes to going into deficit, you only have to shave a tiny amount off because you're always going to be that far under because you only ever eat what's on the plan. If you're eating off plan meals, or you could have this or have that in this meal here, how do you know? There's too much. So I think,
it's the same thing with training, man. It's the same thing with people who say they need to change their exercises every week, man. Like I've trained the same way for probably the last 4 years, which is just progressive overload. And, Jordan has sort of gone with what I like and then added in bits and bobs of what he likes. He knows I'm going to do heavy deadlifts. Like that's my thing. And I said to him, well, I'll keep it above 6 reps. So I pull 280 for 8. And, that's
280 for 8.
Yeah, man. That's
come again, 280 for 8.
But that's my mentality. It's like, there's things I like.
No, don't. But you ain't going anywhere now. Have you ever pulled a single before?
Not for a long time. I think the most I've done single or double was 300.
Fuck, if I could do 280 for 8, I'd be pulling 330, 320, 330.
Yeah,
but
it's mental blocks though as well. Like even on my page, I've got a video of me doing. I think I did 260 for 9 or something like that. But it's mental blocks. Awesome. It's like once you hit that number, it's like, oh man, how am I going to get over that 300? And it's not like your body can't do it. It's just up here, you're like, oh, it's a big climb.
I'm having that same dilemma with bent over rows, and and my programming's got them somewhere like in the middle of my workout, so I'm kind of half fucked already. But then I've got like kind of 4 working sets, and it's like I just want to see if I can row 180 for fucking a set of 6 or something. But by the time I get to them, I'm backing off to like 160, and I'm tapping out, on 8 reps or something, and they're not. The last couple of reps are probably pretty sloppy, which I don't want, so I kind of back off. But it's hard when you get that kind of thing in your head and you find like something that you kind of natural instinct is to go, fuck, let's just fucking go heavy. But that in the long-term game plan for you as a bodybuilder, it's going to take you backwards, if anything,
Oh, yeah, man. Like I think I did 260. I was just warming up and I touched it at 23 weeks. So I tore it slightly and I took Jordan photos and he's like, it's all good. Just don't do deadlifts for a couple of weeks. And then 2 weeks later, I was back in doing 260 again. That's, but it's just, it's my mentality.
I don't know whether to call you brave or stupid, bro, but
bit of both, man.
A bit of both. I know. Look, I won't call you brave and I won't call you stupid, but you are
strong,
certified.
Yeah, it's from my old man. It's, in all honesty, it's from my old man. He's strong, and I just get it from him. He can lift stuff that even today, like we'll be outside and he'll lift up this giant rock, and I'm like, how the bloody hell at 65 have you moved that?
Hey, on rock, I've started reading again one of my favorite books, which is of Stones and Strength, which is a book about stone lifting around the world, because like, I don't know if people know, it's one of my it's a cool fascination, man. It's got a lot of history, and I'm part Scottish, so I kind of love that kind of shit. So the original Stones used to lift were called, well, I can't remember what the Gaelic name is, but that essentially translates to Manhood Stones. And when you could lift this to your chest height and place it on a platform, you were physically you're a man. You became a man. And they had one in Iceland where you had to pick up this huge stone slab, the Husfeld stone, and you had to walk it. And if you could pick it up to chest height, you were called half styrker, which meant half strong. And if you could walk it around this 200-year-old pig pen, you were called full styrker or fully strong. And so I've got this thing about stone lifting, and I always have used to love it in strongman. It's like, it's the event, man. Stone lifting is the event, the Caledonian stones or the Atlas stones. And I used to have a full set of Atlas stones in my backyard and natural stones, and I haven't lifted them for years. but I keep getting this urge to go back and lift a big fucking rock up. And I'm like, isn't that a fucking primal thing to do? Like, you know, I'm fucking an old man. I just want to go and lift up a heavy fucking rock.
Yeah, man. It is. And that's probably where the deadlifts come from, eh? You're like,
Yeah, man.
I just want to pick something heavy up off the ground, and you know that's my favorite thing to do. So I'm just like, yep, I'll do it.
Funny what things bring us joy, eh?
Oh yeah, yeah. Pain brings you joy, apparently.
I think honestly, I think we all just chase the fucking neurotransmitters, man. Whatever makes us feel good that we like doing, and for most of us, it's doing some kind of heavy lifting or you know something, you know, breaking a PR and really pushing your body to the limit. But afterwards, you feel pretty fucking good about it, man. You know, you're on your own little high, and yeah, fucking nailed that one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Put an Insta post up, capture the moment.
Yeah, I'll do it now and then when I'm like, oh, I'm quite impressed with myself. So
Yeah, bro.
I'll post this.
One of the boys sent me today a video of him on 140, and I think he's squatting 140, and I think he did something like 28 reps or something like stupid like that. And I went, holy fuck, my lungs would be falling out of my body at that kind of, you know. And I thought, oh, I remember the days of doing that when we used to, you know, people would go, see how heavy you can go, and you got to do 20 reps, and you'd fucking crack out 180, try and squat 20, get buried at about fucking 12 or 13. But it was always a good challenge, man.
Yeah, yeah. That stuff's impressive though. Like when they're doing those bloody AMRAPs or however many reps they can, I'm like, geez, my lungs would be gone. You know, especially on legs, that's crazy what they can do, some guys.
I saw Ryan did something on bench with 140 kilos, some ludicrous amount of reps, and it was just like, I was watching it just like, you're making it look like a toy. You know, that looks like me playing with the 60 kilos. It's just, yeah, it's kind of scary to watch.
Yeah, man, people are pretty crazy.
Yeah, man, people are impressive, man. Celebrate all those people that do that impressive shit in your gym, man. It's worth it. It's fucking and it's good memories, man. Like I always like talking shit about. Remember back in the day when we used to do la 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 la, reminiscing. Oh, it's good times, man. Good times. Right. So back to the now. You are going to be on stage in 16 weeks for your regional.
Yeah.
What class are you doing?
I'll do bodybuilding. Whatever I weigh. We have no idea. I don't really care. I think realistically, I'll probably be high 80s. You know, mid to high 80s.
Come and holding water, bro, and we'll be on stage in the 90s together.
But yeah. Well, you never know. You never know what I'll weigh. It's
But it's only 1 week between your regional and the nationals, yeah.
Yeah, just 1 week, which is easy for us. We're planning on just cruising into that Waikato and then peak for nationals. And you know, regardless, like last time I was 73 on stage, which was the lightest I've been in a long time. But that's my mentality of just over dieting and just, you know, trying to get, you know, that tiny percent, you know, more shredded. Did
you find you sort of, well, and I mean, from your own perspective, did you feel stringy when you were on stage?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, everything. Everything. It was
isn't it the worst feeling? It's the worst feeling.
Yeah, and you can't pump up, you can't, you know, you look at yourself and you're like, man, I don't look like I did in the gym 2 weeks ago. But
how do we get around that, Mike? What's the secret to getting around that stringy look on stage?
Well, my strategy this time is get a good coach. Tell me what to do. You got 20 weeks to work out how to get me full and dry. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think it's hard though. Like for someone like Logan and myself, probably diet absolutely to the T. And when we're left to our own devices, or we have some flex, we do more rather than less. And our tendency is, we're coming in peeled, but we're probably going to be fucking slightly deflated, and you lose that fullness. So that's going to be an interesting one to see how that goes. But
I know you'll likely be ready relatively early, right, and be able to sort of spend 2 or 3 weeks filling up.
Not me. No, I'm a last minute guy, man.
Historically I've been too, but I thought you were so lean when you started your prep. I thought you'd be coming in
Honestly, but I've got to say, like, you know, and I don't want to turn this into a podcast about me, but, you know, like, I'm probably, I don't know, man. I don't want to fucking get criticised for getting it wrong, but I think I'm around 10, 11%, somewhere around there, maybe slightly higher, you know, but, you know, I've got veins starting to mat up on my legs a little bit. Like my photos, you don't really see it, but, you know, like there's just veins on veins. I've got veins running up my abs, but I've still got a bit of fat sitting around my back, a little bit under my stomach. But, you know, with 16 weeks, you would think that I'd be, you know, like if we had to, we could probably get me on stage in 6 weeks if I had a horrific 6 weeks, or even a month of a real hellish month. But I've never come in real early, so I kind of can't expect that it's going to happen this time. Like,
Might be nice though, you know, feel body feeling fresh, you know, eating a bit more going in there, feeling like you got some energy instead of feeling like death because you kind of. We're talking about landing the jumbo jet. You know, if you come in hot, it's really hard to hit that runway perfectly.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I just my gut feel is that I'm probably going to get to about 3 weeks out and think, fuck, I've got to tighten it up. But then within 2 weeks out, I'll go, nah, I'm all right. But maybe it's just a mindset thing. But until I get that close, I never really feel like I'm gonna fucking hit the nail on the head. So I don't know. You, Logan, how do you go when coming into comps?
Oh, I'm the same. My body sort of, which I'm probably at that point now. I can't. It's weird. Like I get to a sticking point, and then once I get past that, my body just starts burning fat like crazy. Like, and I'm feeling like I'm there already, which is weird to say. And the only reason I say that is just how quickly everything's coming in. And I've never ever felt like this before, which I feel incredible. Like I feel really good. Like I'm probably beating all my lifts every session. But
That's
you know,
cool, man.
yeah, in the past though, I'm the same. It's like you're kind of your own worst critic, and I probably have been ready 3 weeks out, but then thought, no, I'm not, because I look at myself and go, there's a bit of skin here, or you know, whatever's loose here, and then you just diet a bit more and you get flatter and flatter, and by being flatter you think you're fatter, so you just try and diet more, and that's probably what most people do.
I'm really hoping this time round with this approach that you know, coming in slightly leaner to start with, that I don't have to go through the skinny fat phase, because I fucking hate that phase. Like when you look at yourself and the glycogen starts going out of the muscle, so you're not as full. And for me, the first thing I notice is my shoulders drop in by about an inch each side, and I just think I'm really small. And then I look and I think, and I'm not even peeled. What the fuck's going on? And it's like, and then I've just got to go and write it out. It's the skinny fat phase. You're in the skinny fat phase. Make the most of it, enjoy it, and make a joke about it, and you'll be out the other side in no time. But I kind of hope I don't have to go through that stage, because it sort of sucks.
Yeah, you know, I go through that as well, man. It messes with your head a lot, because you're like, shit, I don't look good in anything. I don't look big anymore. I'm not full. I'm not lean. I'm sort of just meh. And you go through that. But I think, you know, like you said, with Jordan, back to his approach, you know, he's sort of, I guess he's similar with a lot of people, but he's very, very different in some ways as well. Like you know, my carbs were extremely high, and I was probably eating, well, out of his clients, probably close to the most. And that is just because I just burn through everything. Like
I'm gonna ask you, bro, how many grams of rice were you eating in a serve?
At the highest point, 600. Yeah, my highest point, it was 600 twice a day, and then 600 grams of potato. On leg days, it was about twice of those a day as well. So it was a lot of carbs, man.
For people that don't realize what 600 grams of rice looks like, if you go into the supermarket and you buy the sachets, which are 250 grams, they have 2.5 of those in one serving and repeat 2 hours later.
Yeah, and it's that's the hardest part for me is off season. Is I've never really, I've been disciplined, but disciplined in the way of not eating enough, just dieting. And trying to stay relatively lean, thinking that I'm going to get fat. And we proved this year that no, I don't get fat. I can just eat and I'm fine. But it's getting that food. You would know getting that food down is bloody hard. Like, you'll be up at 2 a.m. sometimes going, I've waited an extra hour just so I can get this meal down because I can't bloody eat, but I'm gonna get it down.
Did you do any of the kind of meals that took 45 minutes to finish?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. I'd wake up in the morning, and especially when you're not doing cardio, and I'll wake up in the morning and I'll be like, oh man, I've got 150 grams of rice flakes and bloody eggs and berries and bananas and bagels, and I'm like, shit, I've got to eat all this.
Bro, honestly, like the worst one is when you're eating, and I didn't get near 600 grams, bro. I only got up to 450, I think, 450 a serve. And, on one day I have 450 serves a gram, meals. And you kind of sit there, and I would really try and power through them in less than 20 minutes, because if you got up around that 35, 40-minute mark, then you're going, fuck, I've only got an hour and 20 minutes before I've got to do that all over again. And it's just like no time to move it through you, so.
It's tough. I think that's the things that I guess people want to hear about, is what actually goes into bodybuilding. Is it's not that prep stage. The prep is easy reality. The hardest part is off season, is going, I think the biggest mistake people do is they want to progress during a prep, but they don't go, I need to put a year of hard work in. And then that prep is really just showing what I've worked on. And, people just make such big mistakes of going, I'll do 3 or 4 shows in a year and I may come in a little bit tighter, but I haven't put on any muscle. I haven't changed. I've just used more drugs and more fat burners and everything I can think of to try and get better.
Do you guys use a GDA?
Yeah, no, yes and no. Like it's sometimes I've never really found the need of it. But if I was to, I'd use like our alpha lipoic acid, which is the main ingredient in GDAs. And it's cheaper to buy that by itself than buy, these GDAs that last like, Nate, you would know, sometimes they last like 2 or 3 weeks, and you're like,
honestly, bro, it's something I've never explored. Like I have honestly always just had the attitude, if I can't get through it and I need to, I'll just tap some insulin. And I haven't done this time around because I'm an old man and I don't want to push too hard. But if I was eating 600 grams, you can damn sure that I'll be putting in, I'd either have Lantus across my day, or I would be just taking a very, very small amount after each meal to help get that meal actually just to create the hunger, because I knew the next meal was coming, but not a strategy I want to get into. And I'm hoping that next year when we push my carbs again, that maybe I can get up to that 550 mark every meal. Yeah. I can't see myself being able to get to that 600, but I guess you probably couldn't at the start either. So maybe it will. And look, I think a lot of guys, you talk about Jordan, and Jordan's obviously my coach, but and both of us obviously endorse him. But a lot of the coaches out there now are using this strategy to that what's the word for it, Mike? Metabolic adaptation, isn't it?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, it sounds good. No, it's not. But like getting yourself accustomed to, I guess, burning a lot more fuel throughout the day efficiently without getting fat, and then the ability to create a deficit when you're sitting at, like, I can't believe I've started dieting on 4,000 calories. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. And what I was going to say is, this is just a little bit of insight, but I spoke to a coach and said, bro, I feel like I'm real deep in dieting. I said, like, I feel fucked and I'm tired by like 5 o'clock on a low carb day after training, after I have my post workout meal. I'm fucked and I'm falling asleep on the couch and I've got no energy to do anything. And I said, I've either A, become a fucking pussy because I haven't done it for so long, or B, we're actually burning some serious fat right now. And we had a look at my photos, and he said, I think it's the latter, but I do think I've become a bit softer in my old age. And I'm like, oh, this is hard. But, at the same time, the physique's changing. So,
Yeah, you're probably just becoming more efficient. And I think everyone has their own approach to how, like, all the coaches have different approaches. And, what they think may work or what they want to do. I think the important thing is, if you are going to choose a coach, whoever it is don't just get them for a prep and go, hey, look, I've got 12 weeks to my show, get me ready. Because we all know, like, how long did it take yourself to even work out your own body? Like, it probably took you a long time to go, I know,
30 years.
yeah, exactly. And you go,
And still working on it.
Couldn't work it
exactly.
out. Got to go to a coach.
And that's what's crazy, is these guys go, oh, I want to get someone to prep me for 12 weeks, and then they go, shit, I didn't turn up well, good, and well, this coach is shit. And it's like, well, no, they're not. They just don't know your body yet.
Yeah. Look, most coaches, are can get someone in shape. There's no doubt about it. It's who can get someone in shape most efficiently and safely, I guess, and has dealt with the type of athlete that you are. No point going to someone who specializes in, men's physique if you want to be a 300-pound mass monster. Go and find some. But I think you're right, though. You're always learning, and it does take time to kind of bed in with a coach, to work out how they operate, for them to work out how you operate, because part of that coaching job is not just the X's and O's and getting your nutrition right. A lot of it is managing you as an athlete so that you perform at your best. And I think, I like that stuff. That's really cool. And when you get a coach that is working with you and you're like, fuck, this guy really gives a fuck. He's invested in me as an athlete. And you're like, he's kind of going over the top in terms of the amount of service. I don't expect this much service, but I'm getting it. And you're like, fuck, hey, I feel a little bit special, and there's a few more people on my team for the ride for this one, so I've got to fucking owe it to do well to this guy. And you kind of form that bond with your coach that you want to perform well and you want to do them proud. And fuck, it's quite cool. And I think if you turn up to a coach just before you're about to prep and go, hey, get me ready to go on stage, yes, that coach will be able to get you ready to go on stage, but you kind of you've missed out a big part of the coaching relationship, I think.
Yeah, you're just I think you do a disservice to them as well, as not showing their full potential, because they got a lot on their plate as well. Some of these coaches are prepping themselves, and on top of that, prepping however many people they are, and each one is individual. Some people may do cookie cutter diets, I don't know, but 9 times out of 10 they do a lot of personalized. And I think the people who do get caught up pretty quick, and then don't have a good track record. And the main thing is just working with someone who's going to adapt to you and go, hey, look, what do you like? What are you going to train with? And let's just work along those things. And that's probably the most important.
Yeah, because it's like, I know, there's how many coaches you reckon are in New Zealand that do comp prep? This is just a thought, random thought.
There's a few good ones.
If we took the whole pool, though, we're probably talking, including personal trainers and things, we're talking a couple of hundred.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if there wouldn't be even more, man. Every man and his dog, personal trainer thinks he can prep someone for a show, eh?
Yeah, I understand that.
They love locking their clients in for a good chunk of time as well.
Right. I'm not getting into that. That's not where I'm going with this, but I hear you. So we've got these couple of hundred people, and let's be fair, 80% of those people can get you on shape to go on stage. I'm not saying on great shape, but they'll get you on stage. You'll look like you're a bodybuilder. You look like you should be on stage. Probably of that 80%, there's probably, I don't know, fucking 20, 30, 40 coaches that I would consider working with. And of those guys there, probably, I don't know, 10,
guys and girls.
10, guys and girls. 10 or 15 of them would fit well with my personality. It's probably higher for other people, but I'm a cunt, so and I need lots of attention, but someone that fits with me. So there's probably 10 guys, 10, 12 guys, girls out there that are coaching that would work for me. And for the average bodybuilder, I'm sure that number's the same. Which begs the question, when you hear from someone that hasn't, actually ever made a major, impact on the bodybuilding scene, I can't find a coach in New Zealand. There's no one who's qualified to coach me or is good enough to coach me, and I've heard that before, and I'm like, really? Have you had a look around you? There's some fucking amazing talent out there, you know. And some of them are guys that are real old school. Some of them are guys that are real sharp on their, you know, the academic side of things, and they know all the theory inside out. Some of them are a blend of that, and some of them are just guys that have been around forever and have put client after client up on stage, walking away with trophies, you know. So, you know, I think people got to sort of, you know, do a bit of analysis, find the right coach for themselves, but certainly, if you don't think there's a coach for you in New Zealand, your opinion of yourself might not be, you know, in reality anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think people are a little bit misguided, I guess is the word for it.
I'm not saying, look, hey, I'm not saying don't shop offshore, because if there's someone offshore, we're in a global society. You know, spend your money wherever you like, but you know, don't do it because you think that there's no one good enough in New Zealand, because that's definitely not the case. There's plenty, and there's guys that turn people pro, and guys that get people to do really well overseas. So, you know, I think there's plenty. And, you know, speaking from experience, I have worked with, you know, one top coach from overseas who coached someone that won a 212 Olympia, and nothing that he does is any better than anything that I guess someone in New Zealand does. So that's just, you know, my opinion on it. Yeah, man. I mean, a good coach is a good coach, and at the end of the day, you know, where they're located is absolutely secondary in the equation, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, 16 weeks, we'll see you on stage, Logan. I won't be interviewing you because I'll be standing somewhere around you in a pair of sparkly trunks.
Yeah, we'll wear some matching ones, though.
No. I did couples once, so I had to buy matching outfits. So yeah, been there, done that. No, it'll be good. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool to get on stage and stand on stage next year. I can't wait, actually. I love those little moments, man. Like, as much as it's all about I want to go and win some competition or whatever it is. Fuck, I want to get on stage with my mates and have some fun. You know, and people kind of forget that, you know, when you're on stage, it's actually a fucking good time, man. Like, I don't know. Some people don't like it. Some people, it's the aspect of bodybuilding they don't like. But I like getting up there and fucking, you know, having a flex and fucking yelling out and playing with the crowd and pushing in front of each other and bustling up in the most muscular in the pose downs. Fuck, it's good shit, man.
It's good fun. It's I think it's just like, for me, it's just the end result of just, you know, with your boys and a lot of the people that you're like looking at, and you're going, oh, can I beat this person, or, you know, whatever, and then comes to the show and you're like, oh, who cares, let's just have some fun.
Hey, how you feeling about standing on the same stage as Paris?
Oh, mate, he's awesome, mate. Like, he's a big dude. Like, he walked past me the other day, and I was like, shit, this guy's massive, and he calls me big guy, and I'm like, mate, you got 20 kilos on me. But
I think it's like, you know, because a lot of people go like, say, fuck, how's it going to be standing next to Paris on stage? Well, I've shown training partners and people in the gym and that, check out Paris, man, he's looking fucking good in this photo, and they're like, holy fuck, he's big. And I'm like, yeah, got to stand on stage next to him. And they're like, oh, like this. And it's kind of like they think that, you know, you're going to be nervous too. I'm not nervous. I am fucking buzzing to stand next to him and fucking pose next to him, because, like, when do you get the opportunity? Like, the bigger the better. You know, it was like, when Kenny O'Malley got to stand next to Kai Green, man, I'm like, what a moment, man. Like, everyone was like, oh, look, you know, Kenny looks small. I'm like, the guy gets to pose next to Kai Green, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, look, Paris is a good dude, and, you know, I want him to do the best he can in his prep, and he looks incredible. Like, man, the things that guy can do, like, you know, you talk about what I can deadlift, that guy can do probably more, and, you know, the things he can press, and, you know, he's impressive. He's an impressive bodybuilder, and, you know, it's a privilege and awesome to be able to say, look, I might be able to stand next to him.
It was really funny though when we're at the Auckland show, and he was sitting outside in the sun like a big fucking silverback gorilla basking in the sun. And I went, bro, you're living the dream. He's sitting in his trunks. And he goes, yeah. I said, do you want me to take some photos? So we took some video of him posing. And like, he hit one shot and I kind of went, oh. And later, so I'm playing it to him on the camera. And when he hit that shot, he went, oh. And we both went, fuck, that's amazing, eh? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I said, to bet you didn't think you looked that freaky. He goes, nah. And it kind of just hit him what he actually looked like. And I was
Yeah.
like, dude, you're off the fucking hook. It was
He
cool.
doesn't, I don't think he realizes how, how good he can be or how good he is. And like he's got the right people around him, and I want him to do really well because I think generally I think he's a good guy. He's always nice to everyone. I've never heard a bad thing about him, and I'm like, dude, like you want people like that to do well. Like I think there's a huge difference in like bodybuilding rivalry and like going, you know what, I want to win, but I still want my mate to do well.
It's a funny place to be in because, like, you have to go in with the attitude that, oh, fuck, I'm going there to win the show. I'm going to win the show. And I'm like, but if I don't win, these guys, this guy, they're fucking great guys. They've got great physiques. If they beat me, they're going to have to work fucking hard to do it. And I'll be the first one to shake their hand and say, well done, and be genuinely happy for them because it's like, one of your boys just fucking won, It's like, so kind of a cool experience. I've missed that. I've missed that camaraderie of being on stage, man. Fuck, I miss that.
When was your last show?
2015.
2015. Yeah, mine's 2019. So it's been and I think also the whole COVID situation, right? And you go through all that, and you're like, man, it's good to go. We get a good year under our belt with training in public gyms and going, a couple shows we had Auckland's, and I don't know when the next one is, but it's good. I went and watched Auckland's as well, and I was like, man, it's a buzz. Like it's a buzz to see this stuff.
I put on Instagram the only footage because I took inside was of the crowd, and I just went, how fucking good is it to see a packed arena and everyone's just fucking amping to see the bodybuilders out there? And I'm like, man, COVID, man, that year made me think a lot, and fuck, it kind of rekindled my love for bodybuilding, to be honest. It was just, I want to get amongst, and just because it's a live event, it's kind of a little bit like going to a concert sort of thing. And I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's good. Anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
What we live for, I suppose, other than throwing weights around in the gym and eating 600-gram serves of rice,
Oh, bloody hell. Don't remind me of those.
Right, guys. Hey, we are going to sign off, but I want to thank Logan very much for coming on and wish him all the very best for his comp prep. So, check him out on his Insta, follow the journey, and you will see Logan and I shortly on a stage at some point.
What about the floor's yours? You've missed it out, man.
Oh, true. No, can't do it.
Can't do it. So Logan doesn't get to think.
Yeah, absolutely, Logan. Thank you, Mike, for reminding me. I needed that. Fucking must be the comp brain. But as we always do, this time is yours to thank those people that have supported you in your journey, and those people that you want to give a shout out to, and anyone in general that has helped you along the way.
Yeah, man. Honestly, look, I think the main thing is, I want to thank my partner because she deals with my grumpy ass every day. And even though, we're on, like you said, 4,000 plus calories, you're still dieting. So still probably a pain in her ass. And then obviously my parents, and then lastly, probably Jordan, man. Like I was probably at the point of going last year of, do I still want to do this? And then flicked him a message and I was like, let's link up. And then now here we are. So that, that's my circle. That's, as small as I want it. Don't want it any bigger. I've got some, other people and like yourself and others around me, and you're still coming up next week, is it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'll see you next Saturday. But it's that's all I can say is just thanks to the people who have been there for me since day one, which is mainly my family, and that's really it.
Awesome, my friend. Well, safe training this week, and for everyone out there, have a safe week. Get productive in the gym. As always, we will see you later.
Thanks, man.
Yep.